Hey, how y'all doing? How yous doing? It's the Twisted Store Asylum, man. I haven't really been doing much with myself in quite some time here, but the reason I'm making this video is because I need to bring something to light here. Okay, originally I'm from Connecticut, contrary to what some people might believe. That's where I'm from. Okay, so I moved out to Warren, Ohio. I was, Warren, Niles, Youngstown area, that general area I moved to. And I gotta say, I'm not particularly impressed with what I've seen. I must confess to you, with some abatement of my hopes, that some of the stupidest people I've ever met in my life are in Warren, Ohio. They are dumb. Like, clanking rocks together and looking up, and you put a balloon in the sky and they go, oh, balloon, oh, especially if it's got a bag of crack attached to it. Now, Ohio's not a bad state, aside from the fact that the income taxes are higher than they should be. But aside from that, it's generally a pretty good state. Just some towns suck ass. Warren is one of them. Nice thing about Warren, though, is it's cheap as hell to live there. Like, I paid like $7,000 for my house, and you can mortgage a $40,000 house there. So, the cost of living is cheap as hell. But one thing I would suggest is, if you want to date women from other towns. The dating scene in Warren, Ohio is horrendous. It is like a fucking hellhole. It's bad. Like, women in LA or like New York and places might be shallow, want your money. Warren, they're just stupid, and fucking half of them are hooked on drugs, and they're just like, there's something wrong with them. They're just mentally defective, and a lot of the men are too, I guess. I'm not saying everybody there is bad, but God, there's just a humongous concentration of defective people there. And I get it. Unfortunately, that's happening all over the place. I understand that. Unfortunately, they seem to just have a really high concentration of that in Warren, Ohio, for whatever reason. We literally have like feral humans, like these people that walk on all fours like fucking rabid dogs. It's crazy, man. Talk about the freak show, right? But there's this guy on YouTube, I forget what the hell his name is. He had a channel about Warren, Ohio, and he's talking about how awful it is and this and that. Look, dude, it's so fucking cheap out there, and they're not strict at all compared to like Connecticut or anywhere in the Northeast. Like, most people from that area would go to like Connecticut, you know what, they'd look in their wallet and they'd say, you know what, I'm pretty sure King Kong came down from Skull Island and raped me a new fucking asshole. That's pretty much what they would think to themselves. The kind of shit I used to get away with in Warren, Ohio is fucking crazy. I literally towed a car with like the two ends butted together with like a chain wrapped around it, with a binder tightening it up, and I drove by a cop and waved at him. Try that shit in Connecticut sometime, see what happens, dude. They will fucking impound your shit and probably arrest you. You did some shit like that in Connecticut. In Ohio, people do shit like that all the time. It's actually legal to tow with a chain in Ohio. You just got to have a white flag on the back and somehow secure it somehow. Like, you're supposed to have a stabilizer bar. I forget exactly how it works. I got to say, like, Connecticut versus Ohio, the Ohio BMV, the people there are way friendlier. And they'll even help you with your paperwork. That's really cool. Connecticut, they're just a bunch of fucking adversarial assholes that you have to have every document known to man. Otherwise, they send you all the way to the back of the line for 3 more hours listening to babies crying and all that fun stuff. Yeah, so I would definitely still suggest to my people out there in, Connecticut, Mass, New York, all those places, to come on out here, man. It's like cheap as fuck to live here. Unfortunately, if you want a house under 10 grand, sadly, you got to work with this organization called the Trumbull County Land Bank. So, I don't know, you give them like whatever they want for the house. Usually it's like a $3,500 minimum, and you have a year to fix it up. Nice thing is you can fix it yourself. It's a pain in the ass, and you got to fill out an application and deal with the land bank. It's a fucking pain in the ass, but I understand why. I guess they did it because people were just buying houses and walking away and letting them rot, I suppose. Like, the demand was so low and the supply of houses was so high that they were just rotting, basically. Meanwhile, they got a housing crisis in other parts of the country, but, you know, fucking in Warren and Youngstown, they had a huge supply and, like, no demand. There's no jobs. Somebody told me that, right? Drove by, like, 4 buildings with help wanted signs on them. I was gonna flip some burgers. Welfare. I want to be like, I want to sit in my backyard with a tree that grows money on it and pick the money off the tree like an orangutan picks the fruits off the tree and goes, ah. It's pretty much how they are out in Warren. They don't want to fucking work. Finding anybody to work for you is kind of tough out in Warren, Ohio. So you gotta be able to do it yourself. 'Cause finding good help out there is like fucking impossible. It's like shit. There's hardly any Mexicans out there at all to speak of. So you got to basically, you want to hire help, you got to deal with a bunch of greedy people that'd rather be on welfare. It's pretty much, at least from my experience. Maybe, from my experience anyway. On the flip side of that, if you work for a landscaping company out of like, Cortland or Howland or whatever, you will probably make a lot better money as a result. Now, they don't have jobs like they used to, but let's face it, the steel factories left 40 fucking years ago, let's face it. It's time to, think about something else. Now, people complain, oh, it's so boring here. I came up with a solution, man. Oh, I don't like the streetwalkers. Why not have, like, fucking streetwalker Olympics, man, where you get some of them street hookers, crack whores, and have them push, like, have a truck pull, like, fucking tie a fucking rope around their, waist to tie the other end of the pickup truck and have them like pull the trucks down the street. Like the trucks wouldn't have horsepower; they'd have horsepower. You like that? See, I came up with a tourist attraction, man. Have some fucking shit where like have an extreme strip club or something where like the strippers spin around on tarps covered in like fucking ketchup and foam packing peanuts or some shit. Something really fucking crazy. I mean, why not? I-80's right there. You got I-80 right underneath. You got like fucking loads of cars driving by. You mean to tell me you can't like figure out a way to make tourist attractions? I swear to God, the people that run Warren, Ohio are either evil or fucking stupid. One or the other, I'm not sure. They're doing things so wrong. Outsiders could come in. Everybody else like, that's the life. Outsiders come in and say, holy shit, what are you guys doing wrong? I mean, me and like people where I'm from could see like boatloads of potential out here. I mean, like your average, look, out here, you buy a really nice house for $200,000. Connecticut, you're buying either a little fucking tiny ranch in the middle of nowhere or you're buying a beater for $200,000. It's fucking possible to buy a fucking mortgageable house for $40,000 where I'm at. Not where I'm from originally, but I'm just saying there's a lot of opportunity. As far as jobs, work remotely, man. Get a fucking trade, become a truck driver. Figure something out. Flip some burgers, fucking pile up roommates, whatever. Come on. Get with it, use your head. You see, like, there's people in the Northeast, we're accustomed to having roommates because that's what we got to do to get by. Out in Warren, everybody's so fucked up they can't live with each other because they're just a bunch of dysfunctional defectives that basically sit around like, remember that movie, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, where you had like the big werewolf and the big fucking snapping turtle sitting across from one another? And one of them goes, pops the other guy over the head with a pipe. That's pretty much what they do out in Warren, Ohio. They're basically just like clanking stones together like a bunch of fucking dummies. Yeah, pretty much. Oh my God. I'm not saying they're all stupid, but there are some fucking dumbass people in Warren, Ohio. Oh my God. It's like the real dregs of society, holy shit, man. I'll tell you what, you buy a house in like on the west side, it's like a fucking, it's like a, I'm not saying all Warren is like that, but like the west side's so bad, it's like a war zone. You'd literally want to buy like bulletproof plates for your house and have like fucking caltrops on the floor. Maybe like be an aggressive dog breeder or something. I don't know. It's fucking crazy out there, man. Like I said, you got a bunch of feral humans running around. But like I said, I mean, drug addicts and stuff, that's happening everywhere. Don't let that deter you, because like I said, whatever Warren, Ohio has, as far as the ghetto element, I can guarantee you that there's places in like, you know, like Bridgeport, Connecticut is like vastly more dangerous. Or like, you know, fucking Brownsville, New York is like way more dangerous. Or like, you know, how about Camden, New Jersey is way scarier. Or like, you know, Compton or something. It's not that bad. You know, it's only a very, very small part of Warren. Warren's is the reason people don't like it is because it's kind of run down and people are just wacky out there. You know, it's not like, you know, California or Connecticut where, you know, you got to have your shit together even to
all right, the moves are done.
You got to have your shit together just to even make it. Warren, Ohio, if you can't, look, here's the deal. If you starve to death in Warren, Ohio, you are an idiot. You are a moron if you starve to death out there. There's like food banks out there. There's like these little pillars where people put free food and stuff. It's just like, and not to mention it's so fucking cheap to live there. If you have any sort of income at all, you could probably just like go somewhere and buy food. It's not a food desert at all. There's actually, you know, one thing about Warren, Ohio, there are a lot of good restaurants. And there's restaurants and there's grocery stores that sell really good quality meat. I'm talking like, you know, we got the Amish nearby and they raise their own beef cattle and stuff. You got a lot of good food out there, so don't give me that shit. There's a lot of bars in Warren, Youngstown. You got a lot of, I mean, there's a hell of a nightlife. I mean, shit, there's strip clubs, bars, and all that shit, you know. Got a hell of a nightlife out there. And everything's close. You really got to watch who you associate with out there, because like I said, you got a lot of like mentally defective people. There's even one woman that I swear to God, she looks like something out of a horror movie. She looks like something out of a horror movie. You'd probably find her under your bed going like a vampire, you know. Yeah. But like I said, you got people like that everywhere. But for whatever reason, there just seems to be a high concentration of them per capita in Warren. I mean, the population's only like 25,000. But, I mean, there's a lot. But I'm so tired of people saying, oh, Ohio's so awful. No, you're awful because you're not being creative. What do you mean there's nothing to do? What the fuck are you talking about? You go down to Pennsylvania, they got ski areas. You drive to Sandusky, they got like the world's largest roller coaster. You go to Cleveland, they got like museums and everything else. Right nearby, they got like NASCAR. They got a NASCAR track right nearby. I mean, fuck, even in Warren, they got like a couple museums in Warren. They have, they're fucking shopping malls, all kinds of shit to do. Get the fuck out of here. It's like nothing to do. Let me tell you something. You own an old house, you'll have plenty to do, trust me. Those houses need a lot of work. Or like, you know, all the cars out there are so fucking rusty, you'd be doing a lot of body work and undercoating and shit. Yeah, you'll have plenty to do. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. People say, I'm bored. These are the same kind of stupid fucks that could be like, you know, like smack dab in the middle of Disneyland with like $1,000 in their pocket and say, I'm bored though. It's like, that's how defective these people are, okay? Now, I don't know. Maybe it's just our schools. Maybe it's just the school system out there. Also, you know, a lot of the kind of shit that happens out there happens all over the place. But for whatever reason, they're just way more lenient out there. Like, you know, I mean, there's no car inspections or missions or anything. So you can pretty much drive whatever you want. You can pretty much drive whatever you want. For the most part. It's just, I don't know, it's just different. It's just more laid back out there. And you don't quite have like the Bible Belt element like you do in like Mississippi. Plus, I wouldn't want to live in Mississippi. It's too fucking hot for me. Anyway, a lot of people want to move down south. No thanks. It's too hot down there for me, and I like my seasons anyway. So, look, it gets cold in Ohio, but it's not like, you know, North Dakota where it's like 50 below and you got to wear like a spacesuit. It's really not that bad. People make it out to be so much worse than what it is. A lot of the people that are there were born there and never went anywhere. I have perspective because I've literally been all over the United States, and I've been to another country. At some point I might, I've been thinking about traveling to some other countries at some point, but the only problem is if I do, I might never want to come back to the States, man. Like Amsterdam in the Netherlands. Okay, that's the kind of place, if I went there, I'd probably never want to leave. The only problem is the cost of living is way higher, so that might drive me back. So, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll have a part 2, and I will catch you on the flip side. All right, bye-bye.